My goodness.
We are here. Let's go. Woo! Again, found another way to win. I didn't think there were any other more ways to win, and we did it. My God.
We got a lot to talk about in this one, but let me just say, I mean, has there ever been more evidence that it's great to have a kicker in Baltimore?
Oh, no kidding. Goodness gracious.
I mean, the emotions are real in here. Holy shit. I mean, every game, there's a new and crazier way to just make my heart do twists and turns.
Yeah. Look, let me tell you what, this is how bad it got. It was so bad that when we were coming back, we're down by 8. My mother-in-law decided to walk in the room, right? When she was out of the room, we came back. When she was in the room at the beginning of the game, we were losing.
Kicked her out, didn't you?
I said, Betty, look, if we don't score this touchdown, I'm sorry to tell you, but girl, you're out the room.
You gotta go.
You're out of here. So luckily we scored, and she stayed. My wife went upstairs. Baby's upstairs. I'm the only one in the living room. Man, I tell you what, I felt like that Kansas City game all over again. I'm jumping up and down. After it's all over, oh my gosh. Holy crap.
I mean, it just, and I mean, Lamar Jackson. Lamar M. Jackson. And you know what? Look, who cares about the rushing record? Yes.
Yeah.
The rushing streak ends tonight, but damn, who cares? Lamar Jackson, 37 of 43, 442 yards in the air, and 4 touchdowns to no picks.
And another fourth-quarter comeback.
And you talk about the one for the ages. They were down, Jimbo, it was 25-9.
They were down 16 going in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it was like 8 minutes left. It was still 25-9.
Bro.
I mean, there's so much to talk about. It's just so much to
good and bad. I'm super happy we got the win. And let me tell you what, this is like Lamar's this is the season in which he's just knocking down one narrative at a time. I tell you what, Bill Polian's going to have to take his dentures out because he's not going to be able to talk anymore. He can't say anything about Lamar Jackson. What else can you say about the kid? Like you said, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. I think you were about to say something like only player or something, and then I cut you off.
Well, I mean, he had 4 touchdowns and he had 0 at halftime. So all these numbers were basically in the second half and overtime. I mean, he only had 100 yards passing at halftime. He had good numbers to, completion percentage wise, but nothing on the touchdown. He had 4 touchdowns in the second half and overtime and over 300 yards passing. And by the way, he also had 60 yards on the ground.
Dude, I'll tell you what. Yes, Billy Seals. Did Mark Andrews earn his check yet? Yes, sir, he did. Holy crap, dude. Mark Andrews balled out. That is the Mark Andrews we've been looking for. Not that he hasn't been playing well, but the yardage production, the catches, the big plays, the physicality, the run after catch, and then the end zone threat. Man, and when Mark Andrews came in and started taking off, that's why we said, he's a top 2-3. We got hammered on the head for that, but look, we saw it tonight.
Yep. Beasted out. And like you said, Jimbo, the yards after catch is really what got me hyped.
Oh, my God.
The dude, the guy didn't even touch him. Didn't even lay a paw on him.
Dude, Sendejo is a pendejo, dude. He got freaking... Oh, my gosh. Se le hizo pendejo. Oh, my gosh, dude. That was so great. That would be the worst last name, by the way, for any of your friends that spoke Spanish because he just call you a pendejo all the time. Like, I would never call him by his real last name, ever.
And you know what? Look, Andrews was phenomenal tonight, but we got to talk about Marquise Brown.
Yeah.
He is different with the ball in his hand.
He actually looked for contact. The stiff arm, cutting up field. I mean...
This is what we thought we were getting when we got Marquise Brown. And we're finally seeing the yards after catch. He's carving dudes up, making guys look silly out there. And like you said, looking for contact.
Yeah.
What has gotten into these guys' yards after catch?
Hey, all I got to say is Coach Harper, dude's got him in the weight room, got him looking good, cutting up field. That's right. Just cramming him, banging him out, dude. Oh, my gosh, man. Hey, Sammy Watkins goes down. That was a tough one. Ben Cleveland goes down. I mean, we just get adding to the list and the list and the list. Michael, absolutely, you are right. What a roller coaster. That is true. That is free, and I will take it. I will take it, and I will eat it with pride. I promise you, if he keeps balling like that. Yes, I love Spanish, by the way. James got me. Yes. So, like, you obviously, I'm sure heard the bad word pendejo before, and I would hate if my last name rhymed with that. That is for sure. Man, what a game. Holy crap. Good and bad. Lots of good. Lots of
lots
bad.
of good, lots of bad. I mean, lots of bad.
Where do we start?
Well, look, I mean, the slow starts in Baltimore have been insane, right? I mean, the last few games, they start the game in Denver with 4 straight punts. This game, 3 points at halftime, Jimbo. I mean, first of all, where is the running game?
Where?
I don't know. It's completely vanished, and I get the teams are stacking the box, but this run game was supposed to be unstoppable. It was supposed to be undeniable, right, Jimbo?
Yeah, and let me ask you this, because I was trying to watch this. I'm no expert, so I'm asking for your opinion here. I was trying to watch for this. We saw the Broncos sell out, right, and say, you got to throw the ball. Lamar threw the ball. Did you see the same thing from Indianapolis, or do you think that teams are starting to already have to honor the passing game more? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I didn't see it yet today. I mean, they were loading the box.
Right, yeah, okay. All right, so my eyes weren't lying to me.
No, they were absolutely coming, loading the box and rushing Lamar in a very similar fashion as far as, going upfield. And once you hit quarterback depth, you retrace your steps. You don't keep going around. You come backwards, and that's because that's where Lamar likes to run up. Once you overcommit, he goes behind you.
I was just about to say this really quick. Did Lamar look slower? This is what I was about to say. I don't think Lamar looks slower. I tell you what, dude, Darius Leonard, different animal.
They got an athletic defense.
Speaking of good middle linebackers, let me say this right now, Glenn.
Yeah.
I am a hot and cold person, if you guys haven't noticed yet. I'm done with number 6. Done. He is a net negative. You know they have the plus-minus stat in the NBA? He is a negative. Any good play he makes is obsolete by the 10 simple, routine, basic, normal plays that he doesn't make because he's looking for the big hits. When Tavon Young is more physical than you, when Tavon Young is a better tackler than you, and he's a 10th your size, that's a problem. It's a problem. I'm done. I want Chris Board. I want Malik Harrison. I don't want him on the field anymore. I'm done. That's it. Play special teams or something. Yeah, he's not a good enough tackler to play special teams. What am I talking about? Jeez, oh whiz. I can't anymore. I can't.
Yeah, I mean, I put a note in my little game notes here. Tackling is still very much a problem in Baltimore. And you're right. The guy you should be able to trust the most in tackling is your middle linebacker. I mean, this is his main job is to tackle ball carriers. That is his main job. And everything else is secondary. And at his main job, he is failing miserably. Absolutely miserably. And at some point I saw the frustration by these teammates looking at him just, they didn't catch a lot of it on camera. They do a good job of, cutting away, but the teammates are pissed. I mean, they're seeing him blow tackles with just the lackluster effort. That's the part that's probably just as frustrating or more frustrating to anyone is it doesn't look like the effort is necessarily there. I'm like he's looking like he wants it to look like there's effort, but he's alligator arming his tackles.
It's crazy. Anytime you are the best arm tackler, middle linebacker in the NFL, therefore getting run through all the time, it's a problem. I mean, it's just, and you're exactly right. It's the routine Mondays. Say whatever you want about CJ Mosley. Dude you said it before, Glenn. He was an absolute tackling machine. He hit you hit the ground. And that is job number one, right? Like I can't take either I'm smashing him or he's gaining 50. I can't do it anymore. I'm done. Done with it.
No, I'm with you. He has got to get better. But look, Joshua Hunter says that finish was so incredible. I almost forgot how bad Patrick Queen was. And also, I love Tavon Young, but you can't give up that personal foul. 100% right. I had a note here. Huge sack by Tavon Young forcing a punt. And then later in the game, a huge tackle for loss where he cuts the guy down. And there was another one in the second half where he comes in and takes the tight end, Jack Doyle, off his feet. But then at the end of the game, when the Ravens forced the stop on third down, the Colts were going to be punting, giving it up for overtime. He keeps the drive alive by a bonehead play. And look, Jack Doyle completely flopped. He flopped worse than I've seen in a long, long time. but you don't give him the opportunity to do that flop by
Total
losing
jerk
your
play.
head.
Total jerk play by Doyle. Such a jerk, man.
It was a clown move, absolutely.
Gosh.
But you still got to keep your head about you, and
Yep.
you even that score between the whistles. You tell your boys on defense, this guy did that to me. They'll take care of you. Absolutely, they'll take care of you. It's a big boy. I mean, he's got Tavon Young by 100 pounds. So, I mean, they'll take care of you. Believe me, them big boys up front will help you. So you cannot lose your head there. It damn near cost the Ravens the game if they had a competent kicking unit in Indy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then on top of that, it's all funny to me because Tavon, I get it when you're in the moment throes of it. It's like so easy for us to say here, right? But at the same time, this is the most pathetic thing about this, and we won't belabor it too much. Jack or Doyle did that. You know why he did that? Because he was getting out physicaled by the smallest man on the field.
That's right.
Dude, pathetic as a tight end. You are pathetic if you're getting out physicaled by the smallest corner on either team. You're a bum, dude. You are a bum. I hated that. That's so ridiculous. And I'm like almost not mad at Tavon. Obviously, now I'm not as mad because he didn't, we didn't lose the game. But
yeah.
And Osvaldo, of course, agrees. Tavon Young almost cost us the game. Absolutely.
But you we can't overshadow how well he played.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Point.
This is the Tavon we've been looking for. Like, maybe it's just about getting his legs under and getting his wind back. Because I feel like he's had moments throughout the season, but he's looked a step behind also in certain situations. Maybe this was one of his, that game where he's working through the chain links of getting back to where he wants to be. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting over optimistic.
Look, he missed a lot of time, Jimbo. He missed a ton of time. So there's no doubt that he had to knock off a bunch of in-game rust. So I agree with you 100%. Emery Garrett says 442 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, huge comeback win. Huge comeback win. We lose this game with any other quarterback under center. Not bad for a running back. 100% agree. I mean, the guy was – it's not over-exaggerating to say the guy was masterful in the second half and overtime. The guy was incredible. He just made every right move, hit every throw that was needed. Absolutely legendary stuff from Lamar Jackson. And shout out to the cast around him because we know who he likes to target, especially after Watkins goes down. He likes Hollywood and he likes Andrews and he liked them a lot and they couldn't stop the guy.
Nope. And I'll tell you what. So this is another awesome stat. Highest completion percentage on Monday Night Football. Not bad for running back. We have a massive linebacker problem. So I'll get to the first part, Tim. 100%. And it wasn't like Lamar's completion percentage was good because we were running the rock like crazy. We were depending on him solely to save us with his arm. But I also got to give credit to D-Row for recognizing as soon as Rhodes went out the game, he said, y'all fools ain't getting a break for the rest of this game. You're keeping your bum practice squad corners on the field no matter what. And we're going to wear you out, man. I love seeing it. And to me, this is one of the first times I've seen our offense consistently be up tempo that I can think about. And I thought it was awesome. Like, we were way up tempo. It was a lot of fun to watch. Very strategic. Greg Roman was dialing it up. He took us home and the players got it done, man. That was awesome.
But I agree with Billy Seals. I mean, the 4-man pressure, it worked at times. I think that at times, obviously, Carson Wentz, and we got to give some credit to them, right? I mean, look, Carson Wentz played a hell of a game.
Butts off, man.
I mean, Carson Wentz was absolutely phenomenal. Jonathan Taylor, are you freaking kidding me? We knew he was great out of the backfield as a runner. And I guess we knew when he was coming out that he was a dual threat, that he could catch the ball, but Nyheim Hines gets a lot of the targets.
Yeah.
Well, boy, oh boy, this guy was a threat. Had him at 3rd and 15. He cracks off a 76-yard screen right into the blitz.
Yeah, man. So the 4-man pressure working again. It was like you said, it was hit and miss. So let me ask you, speaking of pressure, what did you think of the call on Houston late?
You know what? I thought it was kind of a BS call. I mean, I get that it's such a tough call to me because he didn't necessarily pull him down in an unsafe manner like that rule is designed. I feel like the spirit of the rule is to prevent people from being pulled down in an unsafe manner where they could get their legs tied up behind them. And I don't think that happened. And he ended up actually getting pulled down the opposite direction forward. So I didn't like the call. But I understand that there may be a kind of a letter of the law. And if anyone grabs inside the shoulder pad, that it's an automatic call. And for that reason, I'm not furious about it, if that's, the letter of the law type stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And so on top of that, the other thing too that that John, I noticed, he said is that he tried to escape from him. It wasn't that he initially tackled him from behind.
Right.
He tried to escape, and that's what, that's why it ended that way, but it wouldn't have if he didn't try and run off. So yeah,
right.
a lot of nuance to that one, for sure.
Yeah, and Tone the Virgo says Lamar finds new ways to make critics sound silly each and every week. A career high. PSA, don't count us out. 100% right. I mean, is there can they say anything else about Lamar Jackson? They say he can't come back, right? They say he can't throw it when the team, the defense knows he's throwing it. They say he can't carry the team with his arm. The guy did it all tonight and then some. He was absolutely unbelievable, out of this world. He looked like a monster tonight. I mean, it was so fun to watch. And man, I mean, can we have a game where like Cakes Mitchell said, I was just getting ready to say this.
Hey, thank
you. Can we have a game where it's not just taking years off my life? I mean, I was texting you, I think it was entering the fourth quarter. I said, boy, it might be a short show tonight. I mean, no, it might not be a short show tonight.
It might not. Hey, we got 360 people. We got 360 Ravens flock. That's strong right now. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. I tell you what.
I got coffee, so I'm good.
Oh, Jesus, man. That was an incredible game. Let's really quickly stay on the bad. Just for a little bit.
Okay, let's touch back on the bad. I got some notes.
Concerns about our inability to stop the run moving forward. Like, do you see this as a blip, or do you see this as something that's fixable? Like, where are you at there? Because I tell you what, I'm concerned. I normally wouldn't be, because I feel like traditionally we just stop the run, right? Like, John's been pretty good at this throughout his career, as far as making that a staple of his defense, and we've been pretty good at it. But I'm a little concerned because, like, the only reinforcements we have coming in is like a Derek Wolfe, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's not like we got a ton of guys out up front. Yeah, Ferguson's not there, which wouldn't have made a dang bit of difference. So I'm concerned about it, especially based on the fact that their offensive line was trash, quote unquote, going into this game.
Yeah. I mean, look, that offensive line has been banged up, but they didn't look it tonight. I mean, they looked phenomenal. And look, the Ravens are healthy up front. So the fact that they were moving the ball with such ease against pretty much a completely healthy front seven for the Ravens, with all their depth pieces even being available, it's definitely worrisome. And Joshua Hunter is 100% right. He said they need to buy a new linebacker with all the dimes Lamar dropped tonight. 100%. I mean, this makes me more surprised that Josh Bynes wasn't active this week, and I would be stunned if Josh Bynes isn't active moving forward, because you can't tell me the Ravens wouldn't have been better off in some of these big-time run-stuffing situations if Josh Bynes was at linebacker. I mean, even the late play, the late forced field goal attempt that really saved the Ravens, where it was third down and Calais Campbell and the defensive front just blow up the play and tackle Jonathan Taylor in the backfield. If it wasn't for that, the game would have been long over. And that play wasn't made by linebackers. That play was made by the defensive linemen. So I think they need to do something at the linebacker core. I just don't know how much they can do beyond just activating Josh Bynes. That's really
well, and you could give more snaps to Malik Harrison. I mean, but obviously you'd potentially expose yourself in other ways. But I think at this point you might be better off with a Harrison Board combo than whatever you got now.
We might want to give Christian Welch a chance.
Yeah, I mean, look, we saw some stuff in preseason. I don't know, but you got to kick the tires on everything you got at this point. But I want to go back to the good now.
Okay.
Because
I got plenty of good.
Our main man, DK, of course, always comes through with the stats. So I want to throw this up here. Lamar Jackson, the first quarterback in NFL history, complete 85% of his passes in a 400-yard game. He recorded highest completion percentage in a 40-pass game in NFL history, 86%.
What more? I mean,
speechless.
And there's still going to be haters, Jimbo. There will still be haters.
If I tell you what, tomorrow if on Good Morning Football, or what's the other one? NFL Live, or First Take, or a Get Up, or Undisputed.
I'm getting up tomorrow.
I tell you, if any of them say anything negative about Lamar Jackson, I
don't even care that he fumbled inside the one when it was completely. I mean, let's be honest. Let's call the fumble what it was. He just dropped. I mean, he squeezed the ball, it just popped out, right? I mean, it wasn't like it was hit by the defender. It was just carelessness with the ball. Damn that. Who cares? Because after that, he was as perfect as a quarterback could possibly be from that point
torching him. I mean, look, Tom Brady. Look, name all the great quarterbacks of our lifetime, right? Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees. The list goes on and on. I know I'm missing a ton. My point is simply this. All of them had the opportunity to do this stat you see right here, ladies and gentlemen. None of them have done it.
None of them. And by the way, he's got 2 perfect passer ratings as a quarterback, too. And I think only one of them have done that. And that was, I believe, Peyton Manning's done that once. So, and Big Ben's the other guy who's done it once. And that's it. That's the end of the list who've done that with him. So, I mean, it's just the guy just every week just quiets more and more doubters along the way. And look, you know what I'm glad about, though, Jimbo? Is on that play when they had the lateral that was later deemed a forward pass due to when he technically released it and when it was caught. I'm glad that they still scored on that drive because that would have been, well, they should have won if that wasn't a rule to thing because he was behind. Now, they still scored on that drive, which made it an inconsequential call and did not matter one way or the other. In fact, it would have helped the Ravens more had he scored quicker instead of chewing up 4 minutes of game clock like they did when they ultimately scored. So I think that, I mean, there's really nothing you can say but positive things when it comes to Lamar Jackson. Now, the defense, we got to talk about our guy, Jimbo. Coming into the game, Anthony Averett was leading the league in passer rating when the ball was thrown at the guy he was covering. Leading the league, Jimbo. Best in the league. What the hell happened tonight?
You know what? We got out of his routine. Went Sunday to Monday. It made all the difference. But, honestly, I wish I had a better answer than that. But, man, he looked bad. He looked really bad. Those guys were big, physical, and fast. And, he paid the price. He got confused, to put it nicely, more than once. It was a tough one tonight for Averett. Tough one tonight for Averett. I mean,
you got to have a short memory, I guess, because next week the Chargers are coming to town. They got Mike Williams and Keenan Allen.
And, oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
And they just put up 48 on the number 1 defense in the league in the Cleveland Browns. But look, we're not here to talk about next week.
That's right. We're here to celebrate a win.
We're here to celebrate a win. But I do got to ask you, there's 2 things that came into this game that have been a problem for the Ravens. And on defense, it was tackling. On offense, I mean, third down continues to be an issue for the Ravens. It's been an issue all year. And third and long in particular has been a huge, huge problem. Tonight, not as concerning in the sense that the final numbers don't look horrible. They were 3 of 8, which isn't great. You want to be at least 40%. But they started far worse than that. That 3 of those 8 were late. So Lamar Jackson was the third down cheat code in 2019. He couldn't be stopped on third down. Now we're struggling like hell to get a first down at medium or longer.
It's because you remember that stat where he is holding it the longest?
Yeah.
To me, it's that because he's holding and he's holding and he's holding instead of just saying, I'm out. You know what I mean? Instead, like there's multiple times, of course, you'll see, and this is always going to be the battle with Lamar is that when do you, it's like Allen Iverson, right? Like when do you pass or when do you know that you're the best option, even if you're double teamed? You know what I mean? To where we've seen plenty of times, I feel like even in this game where there's a lane and you see it, he puts his foot forward like he's about to go, and then he does the little boop, and then he goes back and around, looks for some more time to dish it out there. So I think it has everything to do with that in particular, as far as the difficulties on third down, because you're absolutely right. It's going to be really interesting to see how he balances that out, not only this year, but throughout his career. But to me, that has everything to do with Lamar making that decision of what he wants to do on that play, whether he's going to hold on and run laterally or just take off.
Yeah, I mean, I think Lamar had a great completion percentage. The one obvious drop I saw tonight was Latavius Murray on a play exactly like you're describing, where Lamar had a wide open lane to run to the right. He pulled up and threw it left, and it was dropped by Latavius. But Ashified, Jesus, my voice is starting to go. Ashified Gaming says, I'm a little late, but big W. How about that O-line pass blocking their butts off tonight? Shout out to them for sure. Also, feels to me like there is visual improvement every week. And I'm assuming he's still referring to the offensive line. And look, there's no doubt that the chemistry these guys are getting playing a couple weeks in a row together is helpful. But we also have to address the fact that it looks like Ben Cleveland's season could be over after being carted off the field tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I guess the improvement that I would say that I saw tonight was, and this could be more due to their scheme than so maybe not all the credit should go to the offensive line. What I'm trying to say is that in pass protection, I feel like we're doing all right. There seems to be some substantial improvement, but could have more to do with the fact that, they're not bringing a ton of heat like some of the other teams had been. But as far as visual improvement, that's what I saw. But I totally get that one. Could it be a shootout next week, Justin versus Lamar? It's crazy to say that it could be an air attack, type game, shootout type game. Certainly crazy to think about. For sure. Let's see what else DK's got cooked up for us here. Was this the best game of Lamar Jackson's career? I don't know, Jackson said. We got the win. That's all I care about. And look, Glenn, you've coined Lamar as the most likable superstar in pretty much modern history, and I'll credit you for that because it is absolutely true. I believe every fiber of his being wants to win and wants to win for his teammates, for the city, for himself. And really does. He's not a Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo Anthony's in Baltimore, and that's great. But Carmelo Anthony looked out. He got his, no matter what the circumstances, right? And that is not Lamar Jackson. I think that's just another reason why we love him.
Yeah. I mean, the guy can do it all. I mean, if there was anyone who doubted whether Lamar would be very handsomely paid this offseason, those are absolutely out the door.
It's only going up.
Yeah, I mean, every week, this guy puts the team on his back in a different way. And unless the Ravens can resurrect this rush attack, it looks like he might have to do it going forward if the Ravens want to win. And certainly next week against Justin Herbert and the Chargers, I certainly hope that they're feeling some jet lag driving or flying across the country next week, because the way they looked last week, it's going to be a high-scoring, heart-wrenching, pull your hair out, sweating. I'm still sweating next week because holy smokes. But I think somebody, who was it? I want to give him credit. Oh, yeah, Shrimp Trawler says that Tyree Phillips could ultimately be at left guard next week after returning to practice. That's a very good point. If they aren't thrilled with Powers, who, by the way, I think if you just look at the second half, the offensive line played phenomenal in the pass blocking. Lamar had some pressure here and there, and they chose to drop a bunch of guys into coverage a bunch of time and only rush 3 or 4. But nonetheless, I think they played well. But do you think there's any chance we see Tyree at left guard?
Yeah, I mean, I think if he's healthy, I think the chances are high. While at the same time, they might just want to roll with the consistency and keep Ben Powers in there, because at some point, when do you stop shifting in and out, and when is it more of a value to say these are the 5, we're going to roll with it? Tyree, you're going to be our swing tackle / guard guy, and just kind of roll that way.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Leave him as your swing. Yep.
Yeah, the other thing I'll say too, I hope, and I haven't seen any reports, I hope everything is all right with Sammy Watkins. But speaking of guys coming in and guys going out, if Sammy Watkins misses some time, of course we got Bateman coming in. So, we'll hope that, look, it would be hard and a lot to expect of a rookie that's been out for a while to make up for the production and ability of a guy like Sammy Watkins. Let's not take any credit away from Sammy and what he can do as a player, but certainly Bateman coming in is going to be a huge positive for this offense moving forward.
Oh, no doubt about it. The guy is a difference maker. And DK is touching on another guy. Duvernay could stand to get a few extra targets out of the injury to Watkins, depending on the seriousness of it. They called it a hamstring. To me, when he got popped and sent 6 yards back, after his forward progress
He was
was
a little dizzy.
I think it was more the pop, and hopefully we'll see him next week or very soon. Because to me, I didn't really see anything with a hamstring. I saw him get smacked, and then he left the game. Now, I guess it could have happened, but also James Prochet, we didn't see a ton of him this week, but we saw him make some important catches. That third down catch, his first of the day, all hands in a huge moment, just a quick little slant, big time grab. Then he catches a ball later on, wasn't a first down, but he takes a big shot, and actually the defender, Sendejo, knocks himself out of the game by having that big shot on James Prochet. So both those guys, I think, could get a role increase depending on how the scales are balanced once Bateman's back. But wasn't Boykin active tonight? Because I didn't.
Yeah, he was. I saw him on special teams.
This guy can't crack the lineup for nothing, Jimbo.
Yeah, no kidding. And I think it all has to do with what you're saying, the improvement to Duvernay, the improvement to Prochet. Shout out to Prochet, because you're absolutely right. If he hangs around for a while and keeps steadily producing, is he not a Raven? Like, I'm starting to like him more and more because he's tough. He's gritty. He's all team. He's clutch. Like, he is a Raven. Like, every ounce of ability that he has in his body, he is using. Right? Yeah. I mean, there's no shortage.
No, Prochet, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And the same can be said about Duvernay. I mean,
100%.
Duvernay was so big tonight. He caught he had 4 targets. He caught all 4 of them for 45 yards. And he was great in the return game. I mean, both
got us right up to the 35 guys, right there in OT.
Absolutely. Started that drive off in a positive direction after it seemed like everything was going wrong in the first half that could go wrong, including penalties on the return game. They had every drive, it seemed like, inside our own 20. But, I mean, that just goes back to Lamar. I mean, he orchestrates 3 fourth-quarter touchdowns of 73, 75, and 75 yards. I mean, the guy, he was just sensational. And Woes, the Viking, I don't want to hear any pundits say that Lamar is a wide receiver. He's a quarterback. Put some respect on his name. Also, pay that man his money. Oh, don't worry about the money. The money is coming.
Yeah.
It's going to be backed up to his front door. Steve Bisciotti might be driving the Brinks truck. But absolutely right. I can't wait to hear the creative ways that the haters will find to criticize this game, because I said it last week. Now the criticisms became, well, he can either throw it over. He can only throw the deep ball. Hold on. So now what's the criticism going to be this week? I can't wait to see.
Dude, he was dicing them up. His ball placement, yes, he missed, and he knows it. He missed that touchdown, that pass in the end zone to Hollywood. That was off. But there were some incredible plays where he was able to put the ball through and over and under certain levels of defense, and to see those at the drop of a hat, and to put the ball in position where Mark or Hollywood can turn and run with it. Man, Lamar was sharp tonight, another level. I mean, it's just incredible. Connor Shields, shout out. Great team win. Appreciate all the content. Glad you're enjoying it. Make sure to keep spreading the good word, and we'll let you know more at our next game for sure. Let's see what we got here, Glenn.
Lamar Jackson is the first player in NFL history with 400 passing yards and 85% completion percentage in a game, and he accounted for 499 of the Ravens' 523 yards of offense. Jimbo, has anyone ever seen anything like what Lamar Jackson is doing?
Anyone? No, not in the NFL. That's why I said the closest comparison. This is the Allen Iverson team that went to the finals, and he drug them. Think about, he had Mutombo, who was 80 at that point. Eric Snow. I mean, think about the other guys. I was a huge fan. I can't even remember the rest of the guys on that squad. I think old Larry Hughes was there or something like that. Like, no, they weren't good, and he drugged them. Right? That is what Lamar is. He's saying, get on my back. I'm taking you home. Like, let's go now. And it's not all Lamar, of course. We got to give props to, I think Joshua has another comment here. Mark Andrews, one-handed catch on the run. My goodness. Yeah, I mean, Mark Andrews played like a man
where he took the lick.
Oh.
And that guy got
Xavier
hurt.
went out.
Yeah. I mean,
Mark Andrews is a freak. The catch, the soft hands, the way he had it on the shoulder pad, all of it. Mark Andrews was playing his butt off tonight. Deserved every penny of that contract. But the other thing I want to do really quickly, Glenn, we're going to keep it going here, guys. So keep the comments going. But I want to shout out our weekly winner. DK was hitting the keyboard, in on the stats. He had it all going. He was doing the in-depth analysis for us. So he's got our winner. So our winner tonight came to us in a comment on YouTube. Of course, you can also DM us to put in your submissions. Channel Dirty 7. So Channel Dirty 7. Yeah, that's right. So he was the winner with 2. That's right. The newest proud owner of some 410 Sports Talk swag. In order to get your winnings, all you have to do is please DM us. Do not make your address public. DM us your address and shirt size, and we will send you a shirt in the mail via courtesy of 410 Sports Talk for winning the competition. He got 2 out of 4 right. And he had the closest score of 58. So shout out once again, Channel Dirty 7. Whoop, whoop. That's right. Now, some other business here, Glenn, is that I want to talk about our competition. That's right. So I just want to say, you and DK. Oh, I love it. Oh, man. I love it.
I lost again. I lose every freaking week on this show.
You did. You lost, but that's okay. You get to share it with DK. Both of you guys did really bad, and you got 1 out of 4. I did way better and got 2 out of 4. No, none of us did good this week.
No.
But I won.
Well, congratulations, Jimbo. I'll get you next week.
I'm going to be eating this microphone cover for sure, but you know what? I'll take the victory tonight because I know I'm going to have to chop this thing up later, put some barbecue sauce and some Old Bay on it.
Are you really starting to get – because he's got 3 now.
He's got 3. I'm getting a little nervous because he's still got 2 games against Big Ben,
He almost had another. He was so close to having another one.
Oh, my gosh. Yes, I'm getting a little nervous. But just for all you folks that out there that might be a little confused, it is a microphone cover, not a microphone. Okay?
Yes, absolutely right. Yeah, I don't think it's possible for you to eat the microphone. Now, let me just say, I need to check my notes because
I got a Vitamix, baby. I can blend anything up in that thing.
Now when DK, I think I had it as Jonathan Taylor rushing yards. Didn't I have that? I just want to clarify because
check in to see it. Oh my God.
I'm just saying.
Oh.
Okay, I just want to make sure that the tally was done correctly.
You see this guy over here?
I'm just saying. I just want to make sure because I don't want to be pencil whipped over here, as we like to say it, when the scorecards are just because I said. Oh, damn. I got that. I was actually the only one to get – I was the only one to get that one wrong. Right? Is that my only – hold on. So I was –
1 out of 4.
Gosh, I hate this game. I hate our over-under game. I suck at it. It's terrible.
You know what's so funny, all of you guys? If Glenn won, he would be saying the exact opposite. He'd be like, I love
right.
it.
Yeah,
I'm the best at this.
Yeah, I'm the man.
That's right.
But look, I got to take another second to give Calais. I don't know if we gave Calais.
Dude, oh my gosh. Was that the play of the game, in your opinion?
Absolutely. I mean, if they make that, it's over. I mean,
yeah, it's done.
First of all, what an odd game kicking it was. They trot out the punter with the backup running back as the holder for the first attempt. Then Marlon jumps off sides in an extremely bonehead play, giving them another opportunity. And then the actual field goal kicker comes out. He's obviously nursing some sort of an injury, and he boots it through for that one. But then Calais Campbell, I mean, just sheds the guy, smacks him in his back, and throws him to the ground, and comes through, blocks the kick, saves the chances for the Ravens. But also, he was so big in the defensive front, knocking guys out of his way, getting into the backfield, disrupting the play. Let's see. Calais Campbell said it was Broderick Washington called stunt on blocked field goal. Washington predicted during week that they were going to get a block on the call. So
nice.
And you know what? Shout to Calais too for recognizing the young man in Broderick Washington. He could have owned all the glory, but no, he gives a little bit of shine to his brother on the line in Broderick Washington.
That's right, man. Play of the game. It's crazy because Calais was so deep in the backfield. He could have almost caught it if the ball wasn't hit with that much velocity. You know what I'm saying? He could almost got his hands on that and just all the way down the field, man, to the house. But either way, he saved the game there. My heart rate. So my wife and I have this little sock that goes on my son's foot. And it's connected to my phone, and it has an ongoing monitor of his heart rate and his.
Oh, y'all are fancy now. Oh, y'all real fancy. Got some Jetsons.
So anyway, my point is that so now I'm constantly thinking about it, right?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about. I wonder how my heart rate jumped from here, all the way down. As soon as Calais blocked it, I said, oh, "Okay." We still got a chance. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Oh my goodness, that was insane. And then as soon as we won it.
Oh, I knew it was over. It was over. Because even if we only got 3, their kicker wasn't making shit. He wasn't making nothing.
That's right. I've made this reference before, but I kept saying to myself, I'm in the living room all by myself talking like a crazy person. You guys have to understand. My wife is literally outside the room. My mother-in-law is out the room. They're upstairs in our bedroom with the baby. And I'm jumping up and down. I'm like, G-Road, take us home. Take us home, baby. This is exactly when Coach Yost slams the door on the team and says, Herman, take us home. And he takes them home. Oh, my gosh. What an awesome game. Holy crap. What a play design by G-Road to just say, you know what? I'm the best at drawing up a run game. And tonight it doesn't mean a damn thing.
No.
Let's do something else.
Shout out to T Martin, right? I mean, I don't think last year Giro in his playbook has this type of answer for what the defenses are doing, right? I mean, I think we got to give credit to Keith Williams and T Martin for coming in, revamping this passing attack, and giving Giro some more weapons in his playbook calling arsenal. Because, I mean, the guy has just been absolutely phenomenal. I mean, this year, nobody around the league would have predicted the Ravens would be leading the frickin' league in air yards per completion. Never in a million years would they have predicted that Lamar would have the year. But my question to you, Jimbo, is Lamar Jackson in the MVP conversation?
Has to be.
As of now. He is? Okay.
Has to be, right? I mean, if he's out of it, you're not watching football. I mean, so think of the MVP candidates to who are your MVP candidates
Murray,
right now? Right?
Matthew Stafford.
Sure.
Tom Brady.
Justin Herbert.
That's probably the main list.
See, I'm putting Lamar over Tom Brady
in this instance. That list, though, by the way, too.
But he'll never win it because he's not a quarterback, right?
That's true. You're right.
But I feel you. Either way, though, Lamar has to be in this conversation. He has to be. It's so crazy because he's doing things that no one has ever done. He's continuing to find new categories that no one people didn't even have the parameters of his stats as a category before because he wasn't doing X amount of passing plus X amount of rushing. The production wasn't even thought of. Wasn't even across someone's mind. So it's just incredible to think about. Can we get a breakdown on which assistants are primed for a head coaching gig after these last few games?
Well, I'll tell you what, I don't know if any of them are yet ready for a head coaching gig, but there is no doubt that T. Martin, his days, I mean, I don't know if next year might be a little early considering this is his first year in the league.
Yep.
But his days are numbered. He will absolutely, at some point, be an offensive coordinator in the league. And then from there, could obviously become a head coach if he has success there. No doubt about it. Now, Keith Williams, I don't know, if his aspirations are really to be that.
Right.
Because he's
if he has the resume to.
Yeah, as of right now, I don't think he does. But I mean, he could absolutely grow and become that. But right now, T. Martin is looking like a guy who's starting to put his name out there for possible OC candidates, no doubt.
Yeah, no, for sure. And the only thing I would say to add to your thought here is that he, oh geez whiz, now I'm getting the names confused. Keith Williams, right? He's the former the Vol and the OC, correct?
That's T.
Sorry. Yeah. So what I was gonna say is that it only Bennett, like he's playing with house money. Might as well at some point, like as a coach, don't rush it either. Like learn and grow. You're not losing anything here. Exactly. So that way, when you get into that position, you feel prepared. You've seen as much as you can, and you only move forward in your career, right? Like that, you're learning.
Jimbo. Is it just me?
No, I'm here. Can you got me?
Okay, there we go. I got you now. Yeah.
I'm just saying, learn and grow. Don't rush it. Is my point. I'm overzealous. You know that. Don't get overzealous.
Don't pull a Jimbo.
That's right. Don't get overzealous now.
Well, Tim Ott says, Baltimore, we've got another ice water in his veins winner. Once in a lifetime QB from Louisville. No doubt about it. When you say once in a lifetime, they throw that term around a lot. We hear it talked about a ton. Mahomes, Justin Herbert. You hear it about a lot of young guys out there, but the person who it's absolutely no doubt about true is Lamar Jackson. I mean, just ask anyone. They've never seen anyone like this guy. And as far as Pat Mahomes go, they say they never seen. Justin Herbert's starting to look a whole hell of a lot like Pat Mahomes. And if you look back in history, you've seen guys like it. You ain't never seen nobody like Lamar Jackson. Ain't never seen it.
Look out for the video, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, the league has figured out
Patrick Mahomes. That's right. Forget Lamar Jackson. You can't figure out Omar.
Nope.
It's simple math with Lamar. He's got the shotgun and a better plan.
That's it.
That's all it is. Like, dang. It's just simple math. But look, you're right. Look, be on the lookout for the video because we might be onto something.
Look, everybody else wants to start these ridiculous narratives about our quarterback.
Yeah, we're going to fire back.
Be on board with us. We're going to start one about Pat Mahomes. The league has figured him out. They are done. And in 3 years, he'll be trash. He'll be backing up Tom Brady in Tampa.
Oh my gosh. But the one thing I will say is that let's see. He said, so we've got another ice water in his veins winner. So is he referring to the fact that Joe was an ice water in his veins winner? Because Joe kind of was that. Well, Joe wasn't a lot of things, but
it's hard to argue with the run he had. I mean, it's the greatest single run in playoff history. So I think that's what he's referring to. And
wait, somebody in our comments had the audacity. You know what? This they might be trolling here.
Don't even give them the time of day, Jimbo. It's a troll.
You see it, right?
Of course I see the troll. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, let's not. But before we got to touch on the fact that how happy right now is Urban Meyer. And let me say why. John Gruden just got all the attention off of Urban Meyer.
Oh, my gosh.
And holy smokes, the shit show that is going on in Vegas right now after they came out 3-0. They thought they were going to the Super Bowl. Here they are now, 3-2, lost 2 in a row. They just lost their head coach, and their organization is in the center of an absolute catastrophe.
Yeah, man, I tell you what, there are some really great quotes about things that come to you when you're living right. And the same thing applies when you're just not. One way or another, it just comes to fruition. And it seems to be that way for the Raiders. Just like the Ravens find a new way to win, the Raiders find a new way to lose in every type of way. They're the best season and they've had in a long time. Look to be firing on all cylinders. And bam, out goes the general. Gone.
Yeah, and I kind of feel a little bad for Derek Carr. He's been through a lot. Finally thought they had something there, and I can't imagine them going very far without Gruden now as the head coach. And questions are going to be crazy. Distractions are going to be wild.
Insane.
But yeah, I mean, look, we're not here.
And
to
now
talk
Mayock's
about
there and no Gruden.
Yeah, exactly. How his days are numbered, by the way, because I'm sure they're going to find some email with his name to it. There's just got to be. But crazy, crazy stuff. And I know we're not here to talk about him.
Right.
Tim Ott says Johnny U and Lamar from Louisville. How crazy is that? And if if Lamar can continue what he's doing, the fact that...
so he was referring to Johnny U then, not Joe.
Oh, okay. Well, Joe, hey, look, I mean, both had ice water.
Yeah.
I mean, look, Johnny U invented the 2-minute drill, so there's no doubt he had the ice water in his veins. But look, you can't deny that Joe had his run as well. But yeah, absolutely. 2 Louisville quarterbacks, I mean, are going to go down as absolute Baltimore legends. One's already in the Hall of Fame, and I'm not going crazy here.
No, he's making the Hall.
But obviously, if Lamar continues on this trajectory, there's a no doubt about it type of thing we're talking here when you're talking about unanimous MVP and all that he's accomplished. So
Lamar could cut his career short.
I mean, at the very least, it looks like he'll be the most prolific runner in history. He'll have an MVP and he'll have a few other awards along the way. But look, it's not over, so let's not judge careers just yet.
That's right.
He's still got a long way to go. But
let me tell you how much I'm enjoying this, Glenn. I have a final exam tomorrow. I don't even care. I don't care. I literally don't care. I'm here to talk about how awesome that win was. Man, so we got to get to this, though, because we were talking about this before. If you weren't here, it's no problem. But Queen can't be our centerpiece. You're right. You're right. But at the same time, I would say that luckily, I mean, for linebackers, that's one thing. But luckily, our centerpieces on defense seem to be, obviously Marlon. But then you got two bright stars up front now with Metabike and Odafe Owe, because them boys are looking.
They're coming.
Good.
They're coming.
You, Mike Harrington.
Appreciate it, Mike. But also,
when I kicked out of my NBA program, I'm gonna need the dollars.
That's right. And shout out to Brandon Stevens. He steps in for Deshaun Elliott, who, everyone was thinking he was going to suit up this week. They give him one more week. Brandon Stevens leads our team in tackles with 12.
Tackling machine, I was about to say. He's been watching the show.
Week. And second was Anthony Averett, 5 behind him. And the only reason Averett was tackling so many people is because the ball was thrown his way every single play. So his tackles weren't in a positive light, and he missed some as well. By the way, find the ball, Anthony Averett. Find the ball.
Dude, you look like a high schooler out there. Turn around.
Yeah, he gets drilled. He throws a lollipop up there that if Averett just turns his freaking head and finds the ball, it's an easy interception. But instead, he just proceeds to get mossed, absolutely dookied on, and then he just turns around and runs it in for the touchdown.
Dude, that was linebacker status coverage, right? You know what I'm saying? That's what the typical outside
Zero
linebacker.
Ball skills.
Yeah, who's stuck on an island says, dang it, I got to run this. I got to cover this backer on a wheel route or whatever. And that's all I'm going to try and do. You're better than that, Ant. You're better than that, man.
And I hope he can bounce back because, look, Marcus Peters ain't coming back next week.
No.
We need Anthony Averett to bounce back in a big, big way because as much as we love Jimmy Smith, I don't think Jimmy Smith is at this point in his career a guy you can line up outside and have him play every snap.
We might have to ask him to.
But then you might lose him.
That's right. That's how long will it last, right? Let me tell you what. I was so upset at Patrick Queen today at the beginning of this game, Glenn. I was literally adding him. I said, on Twitter, go take tackling lessons from Tavon Young.
Yeah.
He's a better tackler than you. Like everyone keeps making the suggestion on Twitter. Might as well put Chuck Clark in at middle linebacker at this point. Heck, I mean, goodness gracious.
Can't get worse.
Yeah, exactly. At least, but I want to say, as far as tackling goes, you're absolutely right. Brandon Stevens, he's got stickum on his hands or something, man. Every time he gets his hands on somebody, at least in this game, they go down. His form is nice. He's a good open field tackler. So I'm really excited for his progression moving forward. Obviously, I was hard on the past few games, but you're right. It seems to be just learning curves and things like that. So
any chance that the Ravens could make a trade for a middle linebacker? Is there? I guess I'd have to look around the league and check and see who's on an expiring contract on an underperforming team.
So when I don't know. I don't.
You got to look at cap space and all that stuff as well,
right.
and so like Mosley. Well, I would love to see a healthy
my
Mosley
mind immediately
back.
went there.
But I don't know if they can fit him, and I don't even honestly know his health status right now. So I don't know about that. There's some guys out there, but you got to look for the magic of an expiring contract on a team that's not going anywhere that needs to start the rebuilding process.
That's why I think Mosley has a chance this coming offseason to make his way back down to Baltimore. Because I think that a lot of that contract, like they could cut him and there'll be way less dead money at the end of this year.
Right.
And then he could be like, you know what? I need to go back to a team where I can win, right? Like, because that's all he knew before he went to a putrid dumpster fire who has a bust that quarterback, absolute bum. So anyway, that's another story for another day. But wow. What a game, Glenn. What a friggin' game. What else you got in your notes, my man?
Let me see. Let me pull up the old notes here.
Yeah,
I mean,
let me
a
take
lot
a
of
look.
it is just the beautiful play after beautiful play from Lamar Jackson. I mean, it seems like every other note was wow, what a play. Obviously Tavon had a lot of notes in here and then that bad one at the end. But I mean, I just got to give a shout out to the resiliency of this
Yeah.
offense. I mean, and honestly, so it's really a two-part thing. In the first half, it's all about the defense. Shout out to the defense, keeping this team in the game when the offense could not move the ball for anything, was tripping over their own feet, penalties, was putting them behind the sticks, and the defense. Honestly, the fact that they played as poorly as they did and were only down by 7 at half is a flat out miracle. They should have been down by far more. They were getting, I mean, every facet was horrible offensively. Couldn't run it, couldn't throw it. Lamar would try and run it. He would get barely tripped up. He'd trip over the foot of a lineman, bang into the back of another lineman. It was a mess. It was the tale of two halves. And then the second half, the offense was absolutely incredible. So the resiliency of this team, the defense keeping them in it, making a big play when it's like they do it just when they need it most. Just when you think, all right, it's looking like it's over. They step in and make just enough plays, and then Lamar Jackson.
And I'm hoping to pull out some of that magic tomorrow night. I'm just going to do just enough.
That's it.
I'm just going to do just enough. That's right. A B minus, baby. I can get a B minus and still get through. So I'm going to do just enough. But you're absolutely right. Yeah, I mean, man, Calais Campbell with the huge play. Calais Campbell has the highest win percentages at his position still, even at 34 years old. Incredible. I mean, he always finds a way to get in the backfield. Great player. I have another question for you, though, Glenn.
Yeah.
You better have a note or two about old 33.
Why's that?
Devontae Freeman?
Oh, I tell you what, you're absolutely right. The guy made a couple big time catches at the end. But I'll say this: I think I don't want to see him in there doing the option with Lamar at the goal line. The guy hasn't had enough reps at the mesh point. It looked like there was a confusion there, whether he was pulling. It caused a lot of confusion on that goal line carry. But absolutely right. In the backfield, he had 3 catches, 34 yards. All of them seemed like first downs. If they weren't, remind me. But you're right. I mean, he looks like right now our best option to throw the ball to out of the backfield because of his speed. And he doesn't have the indecisiveness when he catches the ball. He's not dancing. When he gets the ball in the backfield, he's dancing. That's all he's doing is dancing. But when he catches the ball, he puts his foot in the dirt and he gets upfield.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's explosive. He's still got it, man. No love for Project Pat. Yeah, it was also balling his butt out tonight. For sure, had some huge blocks, and looked good. I mean, he was definitely physically imposing, and yeah, it's kind of hard when you don't register stats. DJ.
Yeah, I mean, and also it's hard when your run game has the worst performance it's had in 4 years. It's hard to shout out the fullback, but I do still love me some Project Pat. I think he's, obviously there was a play where he did block 2 guys at once. Shout out to him for that. But
he might be better at middle linebacker.
I mean, he can't be worse. I tell you what, I wouldn't want to meet that guy in the hole on 3rd and 1.
Or first and second down when you're running downhill. No, thank you.
Bad news bears. So, but you know what? You got to give credit to the Indianapolis Colts. They came in, played their butts off. Carson Wentz impressed the hell out of me. Threw for 400 yards, 2 touchdowns. Didn't turn the ball over. Jonathan Taylor didn't do a ton on the ground, but obviously had the 76-yarder, and he did have moments. I tell you what, Marlon Mack.
Yeah.
All
their backs, though, right?
Yeah, all of them looked great. But Marlon Mack, if there's a team that needs a back, go get Marlon Mack. The guy looked absolutely on fire tonight. He was very, very impressive. And then Michael Pittman Jr. I thought did what I expected him to do. Paris Campbell showed up when he kind of disappeared for a little while. Mo Alley Cox does what he does. He gets 3 catches and contributes, moves the chains. So really shout out to all those guys for making this a ball game when all 3 of us predicted an easy win.
Yep. So absolutely. They gave it everything they had. Shout out to I think you said this, the whole O-line.
Yeah.
I mean, they dominated the line of scrimmage, period. We won, but they dominated the line of scrimmage. But I also want to say, because we talked about this, Mike Harrington, why doesn't Lamar see the open running lanes? And I think this has to do with what I was mentioning before, Glenn, when you brought up our struggles with 3rd down. I'll leave this up while we talk about it here. But I don't think it's not that all of a sudden he doesn't see them. I don't think that's it at all. I think what he's trying to decipher is whether or not to throw or take it upon himself to run. Yeah. And that's going to be a constant evolution for Lamar as he matures as a player. But not only that decision, it's a moving target because that will change every single game. It depends on how the defense is playing him. It depends on, who he has at wide receiver and the faith he has in him. It has everything to do with the context and the moment in the game, has to do with his feel, has to do with the offensive line. It's a ongoing equation. Each one of those things is a variable that changes every single game. So I don't think he's all of a sudden blind to the open running lanes. He's saying, okay, and you can see his instinct sometimes is to take it, but he knows, he can move to the right and dish it down the field, and that's a better play. So I honestly don't. And I think going into last week's game, he was leading the league in hits. So maybe he's trying to okay, I need to give my body a little bit of break. He had the back issue and things like that. So I don't think it's that he's not seeing him. Would you agree?
I 100% agree. I think it's a combination. I think the biggest thing, look, they're rushing him differently in the sense that they're doing, like I mentioned earlier, how they come upfield and then retrace their steps to cut off that lane. But I think most importantly is Lamar Jackson's having a constant inner battle in buy time versus take off running, right? It's two different things. I mean, you're both are involved in, running around, but I think he's more worried about buying time and giving his opportunity for the receivers to make big chunk plays more than him just taking off and risking taking hits and all that. So I think it's a lot of it. He's just trying to buy time rather than pick up the first down himself. And in the long run, it's probably wise to do it that way, to buy time and use your legs rather than picking up the first down yourself. Use it to buy time and allow others to pick up big plays down the field. Because as much as we love seeing Lamar Jackson run, he picks up those big chunk plays, gets everyone else involved, gets everyone else. There's got to be a difference if you're a wide receiver. If there's an opportunity for you to do some scramble drill, get open for your quarterback, actually get a target rather than just turning and blocking if the play breaks down. There's got to be a difference in mentality and what that does to the rest of the
guys. And I always reference him, but he's a former quarterback in the NFL who we had on the show. JT O'Sullivan brought the fact that in a scramble drill type play where the play broke down, Gus Edwards in the play that he was referencing didn't even look for the check down. He immediately started blocking. Yeah. That's because he knew there's no way he's getting the ball.
Yeah.
Right. So certainly, like you said, mentally, there's got to be something to a guy saying, dang, I'm about to put my foot in the ground and cut up field as fast as I can with a chance of getting this ball instead of saying, dang, I gotta block again. You know what I mean? We don't have all Miles Boykins out there, right?
Yeah, exactly. They don't have a whole team of them. But DK is asking if are we concerned about the Ben Cleveland injury. You know what? When I saw there was one of the offensive linemen down, I couldn't see which one it was. And I was thinking, if it had to be any of, look, I'm not happy, but obviously it sucks for Ben Cleveland. I hope he bounces back. We don't know the extent of his injury, but the way it was hit looks like some sort of a knee ligament thing. Just don't know for sure. But if it had to be anybody, I guess I would have said Ben Powers maybe first, but it was either him or Cleveland if I had to hope. And let's be honest, his year is next year. That's where the Ravens want him to take over as a full-time guy. The only good news is it happened early enough where next year, if this is a season ender, he'll be back next year. There won't be an issue where he's going to be limited. He should be 100% back by the start of camp. And Tyree Phillips is back. I guess that's the only bright spot. If it had to be someone up front, you don't want it to be anyone, but if it had to be someone, I guess it's best it happened to him. What's your thoughts, Jimbo?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm with you there. I'm not concerned. So this is where I'm at, DK. I'm numb to injuries. All right. This is what I'm going to say. At this point, no injuries concern me except injuries to one person. That's number 8. Nah, 2 and number 9. Outside of that, I'm just over it. I'm over it. I'm saying next man up, get the job done, no excuses, or pack it in for next year. Like, that's all it is, right? So it sucks, but I'm not super concerned about it. I guess the only thing I would say about for him that I'm concerned about is if he's going to be down with a lower leg injury for a while, he's got to make sure he keeps that weight off because he's a big boy, and that's not going to make it any easier coming back. So I'm sure he's well aware of that. But let's have DK join the party here, Glenn, before we wrap up here for the end of the night. DK,
do it.
Fill us in, man.
Yeah.
What's going
Finally,
on?
the invite.
DK, you're our favorite guest.
Man.
No, you're no guest to the show. You are
a member. Absolutely.
the show.
Yeah, that's right.
Puppet Master. All right. No, thank you. No, I man, my heart's still beating. I can't settle down.
I'm glad your heart's still beating, because if not, it would be weird.
Yeah.
Well,
if not,
right.
it's
pounding pretty. It's going to the extreme
Like a
where I'm
rabbit.
worried about how fast it's pounding. All right, so like that's where I'm at, and I'm starting to get pissed off with how much the Ravens make me just like high blood pressure every game. Like I have the nerves. I can't handle it. You know, like it's insane. I mean, I'm glad they're W's, mostly W's, but like it's down to the wire. It's like it's nerve wracking. And I have one point that I got to get off my shoulders.
All right,
which is this freaking the screen game we just cannot defend against. It's maddening. You know what's maddening about it is because it looks like such a like a innocent play, right? Like if you can get the guy down, you know, behind the line of scrimmage, that's great. You know, if you can't get them down, all right, just limit them from getting a first down. But then when they blow it up and score a touchdown on something like that, it just makes you really concerned that just the over aggressive nature of our defense is not worth implementing in order to sacrifice plays like that. That's my issue with it.
So let me ask you guys this. Once again, no defensive guru here, but if we are in a man-to-man scenario, right? And primarily, I'm just going to pile on tonight. Who would be responsible for that back in that situation?
Well, a lot of times it's your linebacker. I mean,
there's exactly
about it. It's your
so
linebacker.
I realize there's some complexity to the blocking and things like that, but I'll say this. I've never seen a player as content with being blocked than number 6.
Yeah.
It's tiring. Like he had one play tonight where he ping-ponged his way through a block and tackled a guy, and it was luck. I mean, there's a lot of effort, but Patrick Queen, I hate to tell you, man, but that's got to be every play for the rest of your career. Like,
yeah,
you're in the NFL now. You know what I mean? That's just what it is. So I wonder how much of it has to do with the scheme, the way that we're defending it, or the players that we're defending it with. I don't know.
I absolutely think it has everything to do with him watching film. Like you have to be able to identify that that's a possibility, right? Especially as more and more teams use it against us, and you just can't be that aggressive. I mean, it's not his rookie year anymore. So like you got to chill out, take a step back, don't throttle on your speed every single play. Try to assess what's going on. He overshoots everything. And so like his speed is neutralized because it doesn't matter because he's way out of the play by the time it gets rolling. So like I mean, I'm echoing what you guys have already been sharing, but I mean, it's a major issue, and we need somebody with experience. And unfortunately, you know, like Malik Harrison's okay, but he's not any better at detecting stuff like that. So we don't have anyone to really sniff this type of stuff out. And it's the linebackers that normally, you know, you're praising or criticizing on those plays. And
that's interesting.
We never hear their names on the praise side.
Yeah, go ahead, Glenn.
No, I was just going to say, I mean, it's the linebackers for sure, but I think it's just overall all year we talked about this defense and their inability to tackle in the open field. And on a screenplay, that's primarily what you have to do. They get the ball to a guy and they set him up in the open field and they try and make a bunch of guys miss. And the Ravens just did not do a good job. Chuck Clark was screaming over from the other side. He was pushed, and basically one offensive lineman blocked him and Jimmy Smith with one push. He pushed Chuck Clark into Jimmy Smith, which really opened it up and made it an easy touchdown. So I think they all have to be better gang tackling, getting to the ball. But look, we were spoiled. Terrell Suggs seemingly always sniffed out every screen.
I was just about to say that.
Wow. Where Bowser, if you notice on that play, barely missed tipping that ball. He jumped, and on that replay, you could see he missed it by a couple of inches of tipping that down. And the difference is a lot of times Suggs would get a hold of that ball and knock it down. You know?
That's what I was going to say. I mean, it's so interesting that you can see the film study pay off in dividends in the legends that we had in the past. Obviously, Haloti Ngata went into the Ring of Honor tonight. But, you know, if you talk about him, but more notably, you talk about, I mean, Ray Lewis in, what was that, year 17, that 4th down against San Diego when they were still in city. He knew exactly what they were doing as soon as they broke the huddle.
Yep.
He knew it.
You're talking about on
the tackle on
Super Bowl
Sproles.
run. Yeah, I mean,
he knew it, and that had nothing to do. He's old man. Ray's old back then. Had everything what was right here, and the time you put in his film study. Same thing, obviously, with Ed Reed, and like you said, Glenn, Terrell Suggs. I don't think gets enough credit for his,
his instincts.
His instincts and his film study, because he was so physically gifted that those things kind of get, pushed aside. But you're absolutely right. It comes down to hours in the film. Tom Brady watches 40 hours of film or something like that a week.
I believe it.
Does not shock me. And he still works on fundamentals. And the guy's 45 years old.
I mean, that's how you get there, right? That's how you get there. I mean, you got to take a page from those guys' books. I mean, you can't rely too much on your athleticism and think, oh, this will take me far. I mean, you have the college player mentality, and it's not going to make you. It's just not going to earn you success in the NFL.
Yeah, it's really concerning. So, man, it sucks if we're going to be back to the drawing board again here at linebacker, and I don't think they'll give up on him that quick. But if
he's a first-round pick, so they're not going to give up
him
on
every
him.
chance that they can.
And his physical tools. You got to. He's got it physically. He's just got to get it mentally. And I don't know if that's maybe. I mean, is that even harder part to fix, the mental side of it? I mean, I don't know.
Is it mental as far as like? No, like his commitment, or is it mental as his, like, because they kind of go hand in hand. Maybe the mental side of it would look better if he was just more committed to the film study, right? I don't know. We're making it.
And it could also be, is he aggressive enough? Does he play with enough physicality? I don't know if you call that the mental side of it, or if maybe that's still the physical side. But like you said, when he gets engaged by a blocker, I get it that typically an offensive lineman is going to have an advantage.
Like, that's a valid excuse, but
you have to shed some. I mean, you can't ever get off of a block. You just are incapable of getting off of any block.
Right.
I mean, I have a problem with that. I get that sometimes the offensive linemen win, even if you say more oftentimes they win. Do you ever shed a block? Ever? It makes me crazy. MMA Raven says, with our defensive tackles, the opposition's offensive line shouldn't be getting to the linebackers so easily. And you know what? That could be the case, and it could be that Derek Wolfe has missed more than we actually are realizing on the field. If Derek Wolfe is to come back and be like the old Derek Wolfe, will we see better play of the guys behind him because maybe they're not eating up enough blockers in the front four?
Yeah, and that might be the case, but I agree with DK at the end of the day. So what can Patrick Queen control right now? He can improve his film study and the ability to break down an offense, analyze an offense. He can do that right now.
And he can tackle when the tackle's available.
Number two is his willingness to tackle. Tonight, all Tavon Young did was he worked really hard.
Yeah.
And he showed proper technique.
Mm-hmm.
Had nothing to do with his size, nothing to do with Queen. Queen is super fast. Queen might be faster on a straight line than Tavon Young. He might be. But my point is that it's just effort, man. It's just effort and technique. Agree. There's nothing else to it.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta have the correct mindset to play middle linebacker, because every play is an absolute collision. And I just don't know if he loves contact the way a middle linebacker in the league has to love it in order to be successful.
Sorry, DK.
Actually, I think that was me and you. Brilliant Bernard says Queen is not physical. Just watch the tape. Look at Owe.
Look away. Look away.
Is that what he might
I think
have meant that.
Owe.
But yeah, I mean, and that's a worrisome thing, because is that one of the things, like, if you have that mentality, is it one of those, either you have
like,
it or
how do you
don't?
change it,
like,
right?
Yeah, how do you teach someone to play with more physicality and more toughness? I don't know. Hopefully it's something you can teach, because he's certainly not doing it right now. But yeah, he's got to be better. Got to be.
But look, at the end of the day, guys, let's end the show on a positive note. We freaking won this football game. And you know what? Sure. Only the big man upstairs knows how on earth we won this game. I mean, it took a kicker with a hip issue. And let me tell you what, Glenn. Let me tell you what. If I ever played football, it would be as a kicker. I mean, that's the only thing I could probably do. And let me tell you what, as a kicker, I would never say, the game's on the line, coach. My hip's bothering me.
Let the punter do it.
Coach.
Let the punter do it.
My hip. No. No. I'm getting out there. Justin Tucker is getting out there. Mm-hmm. If it's a pain thing, you swing your dang leg one time, 3 times in the game. But as in, one time in that play, and then you go ice it. You get some icy hot. You get a shot, whatever you need to do. There's guys playing through way worse that are on the defensive line. So if I'm the Colts walking out of the locker room, I'm looking at old Rodrigo Blankenship. And I'm like, bro, what's up, dude? Yeah.
I love the goggles. I love the goggles, but get it together. Get that hip right. I mean, and by the way, how do the Colts, how do you go into that game and you don't have a backup plan? I guess your backup plan is your punter.
Yeah.
But to me, if you know a guy is that hindered, and physically, you got to have a different kicker out there. I mean, I know it's hard to find a kicker, but come on, that kicking cost in the game. Let's also remember he missed an extra point, which was, by the way, I think they said the 14th missed extra point this week alone.
It was crazy.
Nuts. There was 14 missed extra points this week. That has, I mean, he's missed one his whole career, Justin Tucker? One?
That New Orleans one?
Yeah. I mean, how do you miss 14 in a week? I mean, as an NFL, it's just absolutely, it just shows, thank goodness
Do I need to send some tape in?
Jimbo, I think you could kick 35 and in. I think you got 35.
Oh, for sure. All day.
Easy.
I mean,
you got the jersey for it already.
That's right. That's right. Well, the Ravens don't need my services. That's for sure. They don't need my service. But I'll send it into the Colts.
There you go,
man.
The Bengals.
That's right. Do something. Gosh, but I couldn't be happier with the fact that we came out with a W. At the very least, it was an entertaining game. If anyone wasn't entertained by that,
it was white knuckle fear for me, Jimbo.
It was an absolute blast. It was entertaining because we won. If not, it would have been miserable and I would have hated it. But man, had an absolute blast. We're excited for the rest of the week. We got a short week, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be coming up on the Chargers game. And Edwin Navedo, one of our weekly winners. Your shirt is on that way, Edwin. I've got the order number, so hopefully it's there. If not there yet, there soon. Could it be possible that we get 3 AFC North teams in the playoffs? Bengals are better than expected. I think that the Bengals fall short, but I get your point. They're absolutely better than expected, but
I think it's absolutely possible. I know that we're still thinking it's the old Bungles. But they're the real deal. I mean, if they can make any of those kicks, they beat the Packers. And I think we all agree the Packers look like they're the real deal. So,
they got to finish games.
Them, man. Yeah, you got to finish them.
Games.
Absolutely. You got to finish them. But, I wouldn't be shocked, put it that way, if the Bengals stay around.
So, since there's basically 2 head coaching vacancies at this point, right? Like 1.5 is what we'll call it. I think
Urban. Yeah,
I think Urban is just down to money at this point, and they're trying to get him for cause, apparently.
And that's just 2. I mean, there's obviously going to be more. There always is.
Yeah, absolutely. How good do you think, at the very least, the Lions are feeling about Dan Campbell after this week?
The man was crying on the postgame.
And legitimate tears.
Love his passion. I mean, his players got to love that. This guy was literally crying. That's how passionate he is. And I mean, it's obvious that the Lions are this close to winning a bunch of games. So, I mean, I think they're going to be just fine. I hope they don't do something stupid and give up on Dan Campbell too early because they're going to be just fine. But, man, what's the better job tomorrow? Is it definitely Vegas or is it Jacksonville if they're both, open tomorrow?
Yeah, DK, it sounds like it's no brainer to you. I'd be
no brainer. It's Vegas. It's Vegas.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Vegas, you're taking on a division with the Chiefs, the Chargers, and the
Broncos. Big fan.
The Broncos, yes. Look at the other division. You're going into a division. Houston stinks. Tennessee's disappointing. Colts disappointing. I'm just saying
just through 5 weeks, you can see that there's stuff there. I mean, they've got pieces. They've been rolling. So, No,
so it's crazy for me. It's crazy because I would go Jacksonville 1 because I have more runway as a coach, because I'm not stepping into a team that's already been assembled. Like, it's still in the process of being assembled. And you have a guy who, who Derek Carr is. You don't know. If I'm a coach, an offensive coach, certainly I'm thinking I can make Trevor Lawrence something.
Right.
Urban Meyer's just too busy hanging out at the club. Like, I can, exactly. So I can make Trevor Lawrence something. So interesting stuff, man. But as far as the Ravens go, speaking of bad culture,
first place, baby. First place in the AFC North.
First place in the win column. Great culture, great coach. G-Row took us home tonight. Him and Lamar shredded that defense, along with obviously the wide receiver core and Mark Andrews. Even Oliver got in on the action late in the game.
Yeah.
Because they're running that hurry up and Mark asked to come out of the game. Great team win. Can't say anything more. Had an absolute blast with you guys. That was the fastest hour and 20 minutes of my life.
Crazy.
Yes. And thanks for everyone coming out and supporting us and jumping in the chat and celebrating this beautiful Ravens win with us.
Woo!
We'll do a couple shout outs. Christopher Shook, always in the comments. Appreciate you. David, thanks for coming out. Ramsey, also thanks to you. Tim Ott, or Oat, I never get it right. You need a one-day clear. Okay, Tim Ott. Edwin, thanks for showing us some love and coming out with us. Living legend, as always out here. Nana Rave. I didn't see Don C out here tonight. Hope he's doing okay. Hope he's back.
I think he's working.
Okay, all right. Troy, appreciate you coming out and always showing love. Everyone who commented, thanks for commenting. Everyone who silently observed, thank you so much for coming out, celebrating this beautiful win, staying up late with us. Shout out to Jimbo. Shout out to DK. Thanks for hanging out with us. And be on the lookout because we will be back soon. It's a short week, so get ready for the charges.
See ya.
Charge.